Radar Update. My name is Daniel Vallis from InformedChristians.com, a website ministry devoted to discerning current events from a Christian and biblical perspective. Thank you so much for all those who send in news, tips, and articles and your thoughts and feedback. I greatly appreciate it, and it definitely contributes to the overall picture that we are seeing and warning and provoking each other to love and to good works and helping each other get ready for Christ's return. This is a warning, but it is not a prediction. I do not know the future, but I will share with you what is going on right now and help you gain an understanding of the times so we will know what we should be doing right now. In just a few days, the triumphal arch from Palmyra, Triumphal Arch is going to be set up in Trafalgar Square on the 18th, but it'll be there from the 19th and the 20th. And this is a very significant event and has generated a lot of controversy and a lot of dialogue on the internet. And I've had a few people ask me, is this the day when the Antichrist is going to be revealed? Is Obama going to be revealed as the Antichrist because it's a certain number of days from the election? First of all, I do not know the future, but secondly, I do know that Obama is not the Antichrist. But we do know there is a lot of enemy activity around this time, building up to this time, and with the prophetic and celestial signs, we know this time is very significant prophetically. So we do have a high expectation of things happening in the days ahead, but I cannot say what. But the Bible does tell us that Christ's coming will be as the days of Noah and as the days of Lot even as well. And he's describing the days before judgment, not after. Christ was telling his disciples people are going to be eating and drinking, partying, living as their life goes on, buying and selling. The economy hasn't collapsed yet. They're going to be marrying, planting for a future. They're going to be building for a future. There's going to be a lot of wickedness too, but generally people will have an expectation for the future and living as though life goes on because nothing has happened yet. Christ is coming back before judgment starts, but not too shortly before that. And as Christians, we need to be ready because he is coming before judgment, but those who are not ready and do not make themselves ready, and the hypocrites, they will be left behind with the unbelievers, he says. And Christ told his disciples 4 times that he was coming before judgment. And notice the last passage, he phrases it as when the Son of Man is revealed. And that's how he's coming. It's going to be in the sky. It's going to be as lightning seen from one end of the sky to the other. It's going to be very visible. People are going to be wondering what's going on. The Son of Man is going to be revealed just prior to judgment. He's coming to capture and snatch away his prepared, his ready bride to be his queen. And of course, we know that the Son of Man, Jesus Christ, the Messiah, is referred to as the Lion of Judah. But the Bible also tells us that Satan is referred to as a lion too. Roameth about as a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. And Satan is a mimicker and counterfeiter of Christ and all that he does. And he's going to be passing himself off as an imitator and antichrist in the end times. But it's very interesting that the phrase, when the Son of Man is revealed, how Jesus Christ is going to be revealed, is the exact same way it's described that the Antichrist is going to be revealed too. And you can compare these verses and study them on your own. Luke 17 and 2 Thessalonians. In the Luke passage is where it tells us the Son of Man is revealed, and in the Thessalonians it tells us the son of perdition, the man of sin, is going to be revealed. He's not just going to be some political figure that suddenly announces one day he's the Antichrist. No, he's going to be revealed in a very amazing way. Very similar to the Son of Man, how he's revealed. He's not even on the scene yet. He's going to be revealed. And notice in verse 9, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders. When the Antichrist comes onto the scene, when he is revealed, you're not going to be able to miss it. He's not even here yet. He's not Obama. Just forget Obama. Get him out of your mind. He's not the Antichrist. Just forget all that garbage that tries to tell you he's the Antichrist. He's not. The Antichrist is going to be revealed very spectacularly when he comes onto the scene. And he's going to be mimicking very closely or trying to mimic the way the Son of Man was revealed, because that's what he's trying to pass himself off as. And we've talked about the illusions of these gates. Jesus Christ had his triumphal entry with what we commonly call the Palm Sunday entry, where they cut down the palm branches and strewed them in the path and everything. He had his triumphal entry in Jerusalem. Satan, the other lion, is preparing his triumphal entry as well. And he's been laying a groundwork in the Trafalgar Square, what they refer to as the New Jerusalem, and regarding the England as the New Jerusalem, but it's a pattern and shadow type for them. But he's preparing his triumphal entry. They're getting ready any day now for the Son of Perdition to be revealed, because they know from the celestial signs and all the other prophetic signs that we've been studying in Scripture, this Son of Man, Jesus Christ, is about to be revealed. And once he comes and snatches away his ready bride, then he's going to unrestrain the Son of Perdition. So his revealing will come shortly thereafter. But Satan is getting ready for it right now, and he's rallying all his disciples. They're getting ready for it. So there is an expectation in the days ahead, some time. We do not know the day, but some things are about to transpire, it appears, from everything coming together right now. And one thing we need to keep in mind is with the triumphal entry that Christ had, he did not do anything outwardly spectacular to catch people's attention for several days after that. The triumphal entry marked that he was here, that he was about to do things. But he waited a little bit. And we might be able to view, in a sense, the triumphal arches that Satan is setting up as announcements, in a sense, and declarations of intent, that they are almost here. But it will probably, prophetically, if things continue as we have seen them increase, it might mean his revealing is very closely after that. We do not know, but we see so much coming together right now. So just disregard Obama as the Antichrist, show people the scriptures of the revealing and use that to explain that and everything. Obama's a great counterfeiter. They're using him as a distraction, a scapegoat even. He's going to probably go down with the ship. When the Antichrist comes onto the scene, the Bible tells us he's going to uproot 3 nations to show how big and bad he is. One of those is most likely going to be America. So that ship is going to go down, and it's not appearing in prophecy. But the Bible gives us some very good detail about who the Antichrist is, and it's not Obama. So in a few days here, we see some major declarations of enemy action. And again, looking at enemy action does not tell us the future, but it does show us what they intend or what they are trying to do. Our greater strength lies in Scripture and the celestial signs and prophetic signs that we see. That is where we rest. But we keep a very strong eye on what the enemy is doing, especially at this time. May 1st is called May Day, Beltane, Walpurgis Day. Very occult day associated with the maypole. Very disgusting picture of what it represents there. Long history going back to fertility rituals and everything associated with Baal. They all go together. And we talked about that at the Olympics, how they made sure that was very prominent as they were playing Nimrod and all the other illusions. They are preparing the way for the Nimrod figure, the Antichrist figure. We talked about the lion, Cecil, that they projected onto the Empire State Building, drawing attention to the lion. Because Satan is warning his disciples that his caricature of the lion, his portrayal of the lion, is about to come onto the scene. And it was projected onto the Empire State Building at the same time as Kali, the Shiva equivalent, and the associations with time and destruction, darkness, all of that, because they go together, and we've talked about all that too as well. And then you saw news stories that quickly came out after Cecil talking about Jericho, another lion who was purported to be his brother but wasn't, but very closely tied to his pride. But Jericho, dropping the same hint with Jericho and the lion, at the same time with Kali, the destroyer, and all of that. And we've talked about this in our Revelation Spiral of Time poster. Of the Jericho is a template and a pattern and a shadow of some of the time changes that are apparently going to be coming during the tribulation time period. So you can find links for all of these resources in the description box. And Satan has been pushing for months and months and months, getting his disciples rallied and ready that the beast is about to come through a doorway, a gateway. He's about to be revealed with many lying wonders. They are getting ready for their king. And the Disney production, The Lion King, is loaded with symbolism about the coming of the Antichrist. And Disney is no friend of your family at all. Do not let them in your house. But you can definitely see the illuminated pyramid that they reference here as well. And there's a lot of other distinct elements in The Lion King that we don't have time to cover here. But they're using it as a long-running theme, reminding his disciples that they are getting ready for their king to return, their Sun King, the Sun, the Apollyon, the Apollo figure, the Sun King. And it's amazing, if you go to the news and type in the Lion King right now, you'll find a lot of schools and different places like that doing school plays on the Lion King, and little drama companies doing the Lion King. It suddenly seems to be the fad to do a play on the Lion King this year all of a sudden. That's not by accident. And you'll see other mentions of the Lion King is getting an abnormal push recently and suddenly because it's messaging, it's part of messaging. But the background of the Lion King was obviously set in Africa. And in Africa, there's a place called Hell's Gate National Park. Hello. But looking down at the bottom, the main setting of the 1994 film The Lion King is heavily modeled after the park, where several lead crew members of the film went to the park to study and gain an appreciation of the environment for the film. The main setting for The Lion King is a place called Hell's Gate. What have we been looking at lately? Gates. They know their lion is about to come through a gate. That's what they were portraying with the Katy Perry. That's what they've been reminding their disciples and getting them ready for. Hell's Gate. And of course, the Broadway award-winning Best Musical, The Lion King, is in New York City, right on the Broadway, right up the block from Times Square. Here's where the theater is at, 1515 Broadway, and then there's Times Square just right up the way. And you may see a very prominent banner on a building there. Hello, you can't get any bigger than that. The Lion King, right at Times Square. Satan doesn't need to build an arch in Times Square. It's already there. He's already telling his disciples at Times Square, the Lion King, it's almost time. There's so many references around Times Square to time. It's incredible. The Millennium Hotel, Forever 21, there's several around there. There's different news organizations headquartered right there too. News is an association to time, north, east, west, south. But there's already an arch, in a sense, at the Times Square. The Lion King, they are so getting ready for him. And they're definitely driving that home. All these gates are connected. They are ready for their lion to come through Hell's Gate. Now, the day before May Day, April 30th, is called Walpurgisnacht, Roadmas Day, Beltane Day. And really, the days leading up to May Day are a very high satanic occult day. There's a lot of sacrifice and bloodshed during really the 19th through the 1st. But the window there between the 19th and 1st is a time frame that has been marked out on the occult, and there's a lot of bloodshed there. And many others have talked about the Oklahoma City bombing and Waco and other very high-profile events of bloodshed happening on the 19th are very closely to that. And this is one reason why we watch the enemy, because we need to have an understanding of our time and understand what times we need to be more careful with our family and our children, because there are human sacrifices during these times, and they take it very seriously, the shedding of blood. Now, on the 20th is Hitler's birthday, and some would even say it's on the 19th as well. But Hitler's birthday pretty much marks off this exact same time frame too as well. And if you're a history buff, you will remember that Hitler's death was on April 30th. And Walpurgisnacht, April 30th, in the occult signals a rebirth, and that's what they're getting ready for. They're getting ready for a phoenix to come back from the dead. And if you're familiar with Hitler's death, it had the appearance, as it were, a wound to the head. There was never a body found, and there are some pretty sketchy photographs and stories about that too as well. We talk about this in our video, The Antichrist Returns. A Hitler type, a Hitler pattern, a Nimrod type is returning. He's going to be coming in supposedly bringing peace, but it'll be a false peace. And we talk about Hitler's association and love for the occult and mythology and the old demigods and Greek mythology and the fallen angels. We talk about that and how he modeled a lot of his architecture around specifically that. His major colosseums to the Sunwheel, the Real, and how he personally designed the banners and insignias and all sorts of stuff. He was very much into the occult. And when you look at the SS rituals, very occult, very occult. Hitler knew what he was a pattern of and what he was laying groundwork for. He was laying groundwork, world-changing events to prepare the way for Apollo, Apollyon, the Sun King. That is what those events were for. That is who they are expecting today. That is what the nations of the world, the 10 kings, are preparing. They're preparing for the Phoenix to hand over power to the Phoenix. We find very significant enemy action at this time and in the days ahead. Again, I do not know what will happen during this window or on April 19th. But they are definitely getting ready for gates to be opened, it appears. and looking from prophecy and the celestial signs that we've seen, and even drawing our attention to in the hours ahead, reminding us of the very significant celestial signs. We know this time is very important, and we must be sober. We must set aside any distractions right now. Be vigilant. Be ready. Satan knows the church, the bride who is not awake, who is still sleeping, who is not getting ready, they are not leaving. They're going to be stuck behind with the hypocrites and the unbelievers. This is why we must be ready. We must rehearse the matter. We must study. We must be vigilant. Matthew 25, he lays it all out. And we have our articles, link in the description box, 5 lamps going out, that talks about this chapter. And also Christ's warnings to his disciples to beware of the tribulation snare. It will catch the Christians who are not paying attention. We also have the articles assembled together in a PDF called The Weeping Bride, Appointed with the Hypocrites. There's going to be much weeping and gnashing of teeth from the bride who was not ready. In a sense, they will be going through a second Passover because they did not make themselves ready beforehand. Now is the time to review the material that has drawn our attention to this time, but also given guidelines and instructions for us from Scripture of ways we can purify and make our life ready for our beloved, our Redeemer, Jesus Christ. Time is running out. I do not know the future, but we see so much coming together right now. A tapestry woven by Christ and a tapestry woven by the enemy. We are expecting the Son of Man, Jesus Christ, to be revealed any day now. And because of that, every man that hath this hope in him purifieth himself even as he is pure. Serve Christ, first and highest above all else. Maranatha.